idea how many personalities he must possess. The man is clearly insane.
We will not tolerate violence in this chamber.
Maybe that's what the Academy should have did with Will Smith. Then he wouldn't be in the shit that he's in right now. But let's talk about Moon Knight. What's going on, my YouTubers, subscribers, family? Hope you guys are having an amazing day because it is Wednesday. That means we got a brand new episode of Moon Knight on Disney Plus right now. It just aired episode 3, and I gotta say, this episode, I'm kind of walking away like I think this might be the best episode yet. I think it's got an interesting trial scene. It's got an interesting, I think the best Moon Knight action scene we've seen in the last 2 episodes. And an ending that really puzzles me and makes me like, I'm actually excited for the next episode. So I think overall, it's like a 3-act triangle structure. This might be the best episode yet. Interesting, it's got lore, it builds on things, it's got good action, and overall, I had a solid good time with this episode. It doesn't matter if it's like 3 a.m. and shit, and I'm like slowly dying inside, but it was a good episode. I liked it. Let me just get right into it. Let's break down my thoughts on episode 3 of Moon Knight. Let's get into it. Let's make it short, sweet, and simple. Here we go. What you take away from the episode more or less is the fact that we really get introduced to the Egyptian gods of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's interesting. Like all of them, like, you know, well, I guess most of them. I don't know that much about my ancient Egyptian history. All my Egyptian knowledge comes from Yu-Gi-Oh! Got Horus and some of the other gods. I don't know them all, but it was interesting because it's like, oh, it's like the lore of like, it's kind of like the same feeling I got when I saw Eternals. So it's just like, oh yeah, there's like this whole other mythology and shit that's being introduced to the MCU. And I like when it builds the universe up like that, because like it's not just, you know, Norse mythology gods like Thor. It's also like, you know, the Egyptian gods too. So it's just like, that was cool too, because like I said, maybe we'll see Apocalypse in the future somewhere, you know, mutants getting on the scene. What's interesting is that they had this trial and shit because they pretty much call, I still can't think of his name, but they call Marc Spector and, you know, evil Moon Knight skull dude and shit. They call him on the scene. They have this trial and they bring in Ethan Hawke, and he comes in. He's just like he's really wowing and swaying the Egyptian gods to be on his side, to be like, no, that him and Marc Spector, they're kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And you get this scene right here.
We will not tolerate violence.
He's just like, oh yeah, these gods are powerful and shit, and it's just like they're like, okay, yeah, he's not bringing that evil god back. He's not gonna do that. Look at this guy. He's not doing that. So they dismissed the trial, but it was just interesting seeing it all build up, stuff like that, like trials. Then if we could skip forward here a little bit, like I said, it's like three main things that happen in this episode that's like worth talking about. We'll let new rock stars and all the other bigger YouTubers break down the little intricate detail, because I don't know that shit. I just know that the first half, trial, that was dope. Second half was where they're looking for the sarcophagus of that evil new god or whatever they're trying to bring back, and you know, you see Marc Spector and Steven, they're really going back and forth, but they're kind of having like okay, you need my help and I need your help, so let's just, you know, do this soul swap shit. They're getting on better terms. I like that. Looking at the sarcophagus, stuff like that, and then Ethan Hawke gets on the scene. He's like, I can show you real power with the gods. So then you got Skull Dude just like, Mark, take over, use my power, turn to the Moon Knight, He just kicks the shit out of everybody, and it's just so cinematic and crazy, because it was just like, at the end of the day, Moon Knight is a comic book character. He's a superhero and a comic book character, so we want to see Moon Knight kick the shit out of people in his Moon Knight badass costume. You want to see that? He finally got that. He was doing crazy shit. You know, he was doing the casement. He's bulletproof, throwing out those Moon Knight batarangs and shit. And then when you really like look at it, he really killed those dudes. Like the people he was fighting, he straight up murdered them. I'm talking like, maybe not like, you know, blood and shit, but he did like, yeah, you look at it like, that dude's dead. He's dead. You slice his neck, dead too. Like that Marvel's like kind of pushing that envelope, because I heard that Moon Knight was going to get more darker in later episodes, so I want to see that, because I was also watching Blade today, and I was like, I want Marvel to push the envelope when it comes to these like hardcore Marvel characters. So good job, Disney. And then you get to the last half of the episode, more or less, Skull, I don't know his name, Moon Knight deity. He's like, okay, you're trying to find the sarcophagus or whatever, because it's sort of trying to find wherever the thing was, and he's like, I will just like reverse the constellations and shit like that. I can remember that night. So he literally like reverses, I guess, time. it was time, right? He reverses time and everything like that, and he's bringing the stars back to what they were 2,000 years ago, whatever like that. And the gods are just like, oh, so you want to break the rules again? Okay, so they seal him into this fucking little trinket and shit. They seal him up. At the same time, it's like he's getting sucked out of Steven, and he just drops down. You're like, so is Moon Knight gone? What's happening? And it just ends off, and it's just like, you got Ethan Hawke looking at him. He's like, what I'm doing today, thank you for pushing me to this point. So it was just like, oh, cliffhanger endings. I like that shit. So I'm interested for next episode. Moon Knight episode 3 is definitely out on Disney Plus. I think you should check it out. I think it's the best episode of the 3 so far. What are your thoughts about Moon Knight so far? Type let me know, just talk about it. And yeah, I'm gonna try to get a power nap in for work because it's still like 3 a.m. But I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, subscribe. Until next time.